So our first step with Bootstrap was to get these 3 paragraphs into columns, which we have successfully done with putting lots of divs, boxes, containers, a container, a row, and a column for each paragraph. So you should be able to match up these divs with what we see here. There is an improvement we can make. If I resize this window a little bit, you'll see as it goes narrower and narrower, these columns get unpleasantly tight. What would be really nice is if when we get to a certain size, it flicks over and just stacks the paragraphs vertically like on a phone, like you'd expect to see on a phone. That's what Bootstrap's really good at. So to see how to do that, let's go back to this Bootstrap W3 Schools page and click on the BS5 Grid Basic. And this kind of shows us what is going on. The key number here is 12. There are 12 columns across the page. And for any one of our own columns, we can split it up using those 12. To explain a little bit more what I mean is at the moment, we've got a 3-column layout, just like this row. And it uses 4 for the first column, 4 for the second column, and 4 for the third column. So we want to tell Bootstrap to do exactly that, but we also want to tell it to break it down when we get to too small a screen size. It's very straightforward. So we've got at the moment div class equals col. We need to change it to div class equals col dashed md dashed, and we're going to say 4. Let's do that for this one as well. Dashed md dashed 4, and down here dashed md dashed 4. We'll see what the md means in a second, but the 4 is the 4 out of the 12. So if I save that and refresh the page, it looks the same. Bonus is now though, but when I get to a smaller screen size, you see it flicks over from being a 3-column layout to being a stacked vertically layout, exactly like we want. So that is changing over at about this width here where I am. Let's just look into what this MD means. So MD is just the break point at which it changes from being stacked to being the 3-column layout. So if I change that to say XL, which I happen to know is their way of saying extra large, it will break at a different point. So XL4, XL4, and XL4 for my 3 columns. Save that, refresh the page. So it actually breaks over from one to the other at that size, a much larger size. I personally just stick with the XL all the time and work with that. Just to play around with it a little bit, just to kind of prove how it all works, let's make the first column really narrow. Let's make that 2. Let's make the middle column a bit wider, super wide, 8. And let's make the last column also 2. So 2 plus 8 plus 2 equals 12. So it should still work as a web page, but it's going to look pretty weird because we've got one. You see, we've got the first column is just 2 out of the 12. This one is 8 out of the 12, and this is 2 out of the 12. So that's just for illustrative purposes. I think 444 works way better. There we go.